Now, if you're flying Etihad, you might experience anything from the mega A380 all the way through to the very special A321LR. Now, why is it so special? Well, it's the only first-class product found on a narrow-body in the world. It's also the most exclusive cabin there is, with just 2 first-class seats. Is it going to live up to our expectations? Let's find out. So when I was travelling with Etihad, I noticed the cost to upgrade on the A321LR from business to first was just £400. A deal like that is often too hard to refuse, and this is no exception. I started my trip in London, but for the sake of the review, we pick up the journey in Abu Dhabi. I have to say, I love this new terminal. It's bright, airy, and one of the easiest airports to connect through in the Middle East. As part of the first class experience, you're able to use the first class lounge, situated on the top floor of the airline's lounge complex. It's a lounge within a lounge, which is spacious, quiet, and the perfect sanctuary. It's the antithesis from the busier Emirates lounge in neighbouring Dubai, and is certainly less ostentatious. As I had just connected, I was able to grab a shower, which is still stocked with the older Aqua de Parma toiletries, as well as a high-pressured hot shower to blast away the cobwebs. There are also relaxation rooms to grab some shut-eye, and first-class passengers are able to enjoy a 15-minute complimentary spa treatment too. Buffed and pampered, I headed back to the lounge to relax before my flight, enjoying champagne and a range of buffet options. But let's not forget, the a la carte dine anytime menu is the real star here. Naturally, the beauty of first class is the ability to dine or drink when you want, wherever you want, and the ground crew in the lounge make you feel right at home. Even flying on a narrow-body first-class product, all of this lavish attention is included in the fare. I opted for the maple-seared scallops to start, followed by the Robian Tata. This is really exquisite food, beautifully presented, and the start of a dining experience that I really wasn't expecting. There are several organic-looking artworks and coffee table books to add splashes of colour and form. There are also private screened areas, which are the perfect spaces for secluded privacy, either by yourself or with a partner. Sadly, I didn't have long enough to enjoy them, as I was greeted by a concierge and a porter who escorted me out of the lounge and into a buggy to the aircraft. It's these small touches that really elevate the experience above that of business. A nice touch was that the porter took my bag all the way to the aircraft and even placed it in the overhead locker for me. Now that is service. At the gate, I was whisked through the queue and right to the front of boarding, where I was invited to board first. I can't deny, I was very excited to see how this was all going to work. On boarding, I was shown the full aircraft with its 14 business class seats and 144 economy seats. But one of the 2 first class seats was what I was here to review. 1F, right at the front, would ordinarily be dubbed a business class plus product. After all, it's in the same cabin as business class. However, Etihad are marketing it as first, and it's not because of the seat per se, but because of the rest of the experience. However, the seat isn't to be sniffed at. While I wish it was a little more lavish in detail, it's perfectly appointed, and unlike business class, it features a larger sleeping area, and also a buddy seat. From wireless charging to USB and USB-C and M-Power. There's even a storage unit for a bottle of water with a premium Voss brand exclusively for first class. Unlike business class with its all-aisle access or the rather spacious economy seats, first class gives you that all-important extra, a privacy door, which almost closes. As I settled into my suite, I was offered a glass of lemon and mint and a glass of La Grande Dame by Veuve Clicquot, which sells for circa $250 a bottle by a dedicated first-class crew member who looked after me throughout the flight. These were accompanied by dates which were super Moorish. Beside the seat are premium noise-cancelling headphones. These are the same as the ones you'll find in business class, mind, but the quality is pretty decent. There is also the first class amenity kit, which is handed to you by a crew member and is made in partnership with Giorgio Armani. Inside the big bag you'll find Esper amenities, a dental kit, Giorgio Armani slippers and a pyjama set, which is delivered in your size thanks to the eagle-eyed crew who measure you without you even realizing. Yes, I'm 2 triangles, otherwise known as medium. How considerate. The seat offers a large single-leaf adjustable table. If I'm totally honest, I'm not a big fan of the gold trim and dark wood, but the whole thing feels at least considered. There's also a dedicated menu, just for the 2 people lucky enough to fly first. That means in a galley not even big enough to swing a cat, the crew are preparing 2 different menus for up to 16 guests. It will make you think twice next time you fly with an airline like British Airways and they struggle to serve 16 people a cold salad. The drinks list is also incredible. Now, I should mention that many of the wines are shared with business class, but that said, the offering is high quality for business class and decent enough for first. Let's also not forget the huge collection of cocktails, mocktails, aperitifs and digestifs too. When it comes to in-flight entertainment, there's a huge 20-inch high-definition touchscreen in first class, which has a much better interface than the rest of the fleet. And a huge library of movies. I mean, it's endless. There's also the moving map and the ability to Bluetooth pair your phone. Even though experiencing boarding past your seat with the door unlocked is a little less than perfect, all is forgiven when they serve you hot Arabic coffee in those custom coffee cups. Before we knew it, it was time to push back on this 6-hour flight to Phuket. Shortly after takeoff, I was given a lemon and mint drink and another glass of champagne. This was served with warm nuts, a feta and tomato salad, and Kalamata olives with sun-dried tomatoes. About 20 to 30 minutes after takeoff, the table was then set for lunch. Lunch started with a range of warm breads, and of course, a full caviar service with all the usual accompaniments. Although, when you look at the Bellini to garnish ratio, there's a clear need for bigger Bellinis, or at least more of them. and all washed down with a glorious champagne. Just under an hour into the flight, I was served my starter, which was just incredible. Reminder, this is all done in a tiny galley. Just look at this presentation. This seared tuna with edamame and vegetable salad was truly mind-blowing. Followed by a palate cleanser sorbet, which reset my palate for yet another incredible dish, a black cod that was cooked perfectly, flaky, rich in flavour, with a gorgeous velouté and perfectly cooked vegetables. Now, if I wasn't full by now, the cabin crew's final culinary steak in my stomach was this to die for dark chocolate and hazelnut dessert, which to this day still lives rent-free on my hips. I just have no words. Completely destroyed by this feast, it was time to relax. And after a butterfly effect mocktail, I headed to the bathroom, which was made up by the crew for me to change into my pajamas. There are 2 toilets for business and first, with the front toilet the toilet of choice for first class passengers. It's well stocked with hand towels and Esper amenities, and my favourite, a push pedal bin for waste. When I returned to my seat, the crew were already making it up as a bed. Considering I was only going to get 2 hours sleep maximum, the attention to detail was incredible. Now I remind you, this was only around $500 to $600 more than business class. Bed complete, and inclusive of hot towel, it was time to enjoy some shut-eye. The crew woke me about an hour before arrival with a green tea and chocolates. Now I have to admit, on waking I wished I was in one of Etihad's other first-class suites, which are more spacious and private and ornate with details. The suite itself is a little bland and functional, but the bedding gave me a solid deep sleep. Now I remind you, this is 1 hour before landing, and the crew started preparing my suite for a before landing meal, which is no mean feat in itself. But sadly, they obviously just left the champagne out, as when it was poured, sadly it was already flat. But that was made up for by the tempura prawn and salad. Now, as the crew prepared the business class cabin for landing, and I was presented with warm madeleines and chocolate cookies, I was left pondering on the experience. Was it worth paying a few hundred extra for this front row seat? Well, if it was business class, maybe not. But you have to remember this is first class. Maybe not a first class seat, but everything else was on point. How can an airline, just a few weeks after launching this aircraft, perfect their product so well? First class for me is convenience, service, all the little details, and Etihad delivers those in abundance. Sure, you get Wi-Fi, movies, lounges, etc. with business class, but with first class, you get those intangible extras, from massages in the lounge to privacy and seclusion. Yes, I wish Etihad opted for a bit more of a lavish trim and finish to the first class seat, but I can let it slide when the service, food and amenities are this good. As far as first classes go, it's good, but as far as narrow body experiences go, this is by far the best in the world. If you fly with Etihad on the A321, let us know how your experience was, and stay tuned for our business class review soon. Do subscribe, and until next time, safe flying.